I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the Challenge Tour Order of Merit leader and the newly crowned WDF World Cup men's singles champion, Berry Van Peer. Thanks for the time, Berry. How are you doing?
No worries. I'm doing good. It's been a long time since being back here, so good to be back.
Yeah, great to get you back on. Lots to catch up on since we last had you on the show back in May, and as we come into the last 3 months now of 2023, your most successful year so far, I'm guessing that you don't want this year to end, do you?
2023 can last for a few years.
Let's rewind to when we last spoke, and it was only a few days after you'd won 3 Challenge Tour titles in a weekend. It pushed you to the top of the Order of Merit. How have you tried to keep yourself grounded since then? Because it's a position that you could quite easily get carried away with and think that the job's done.
Well, I just said to myself right after, I just have to keep going with the thing I'm doing right now, which is just practicing the same, just making sure I'm relaxed, not worried too much, and just not taking it too easy. We already played another Challenge Tour weekend, which I was pretty consistent, but just didn't get the results that I wanted. When that happens, I was still, I just know that the game was there to get further, but just a little bit unlucky there. Just kept going as before, and as well, why would you change the thing, when you've had success with it? So, yeah.
Well, during the summer, we did see you play the Modus League the next weekend of the Challenge Tour events that you mentioned there. And one run that I've got to mention away from those events was in the Players' Championships back in July, getting to a quarter final. You'd played in a couple of weekends this year already, but what did that run mean to you?
The quarter final at the Pro Tour was, of course, very nice. Felt very unlucky in the quarter final because Ryan was playing really good finishes. But yeah, still quarter final without a tour card at that moment still. I just climbed the rankings with that, and maybe I'll qualify for something through that, but I haven't played all the tournaments this year, so I just have to get going on the last ones.
Yeah, you mentioned there you've not played all the Players' Championship events. Is that just how things have worked out? You've had other things on, other circumstances that you've not been able to play more of them?
Well, I have had to sometimes make a choice. For example, it was either World Cup or Pro Tour a few days, so I decided to go to the World Cup if I got picked for the team. And one time I just needed a rest, and all things like that, just now I can choose to play or not, and next year I kind of have to play it. Well, not have to, but I mean, I should play everything because then I have a tour and I have to get full use out of it, but now that I have the option, it's just sometimes nice to be able to just relax.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Make the most of the breaks where you can get them. And you had the 4th Challenge Tour weekend, no titles that time round. As you say, it was fairly consistent that weekend, a couple of last 16s, but it turned out to be a fairly wide open weekend, 5 different winners, and I think there was 5 different runners up as well. So how did you reflect on that weekend, leaving Milton Keynes still with that healthy lead at the top?
Well, it felt good. I was kind of happy with the winners and the runners up, but also I didn't really pay that much attention to it, because I knew if I would just keep going myself, then I should be fine. But of course, there's still one more weekend and anything can happen still. The people that are in the top are definitely in a good form, and with all the calculations, it's really hard to get past me without me. They also have to not make me win anything, so I'm just going in there relaxed, just enjoying the last weekend, and if I get some good results, it's nice, and just have to cross my fingers and just continue, just no worries, just cannot bother myself too much with the statistics or anything, so that will be fine, I think.
Definitely. Well, we'll come back to the Challenge Tour in a moment, but away from the PDC, you mentioned it, the World Cup in the WDF a couple of weeks ago now, and you're spotting the Netherlands team. It was confirmed, I think, around early August time, so quite a wait before you did get to make that trip to Denmark. So I'm guessing it was an event that you were keen to play in and put that Netherlands shirt on.
Yeah, definitely. A few years ago, I was in the national selection, so they could have picked me to go to World Cup as well. They didn't, because he said I didn't have enough experience in the international circuit, which I felt was very weird. So I was kind of motivated to go this year if I was picked. They added me to the selection, and then I just said, like, you don't have to pick me for a selection if you're not going to send me to World Cup. So that was a very positive thought of me getting picked. I was very excited for it. It just took a while before we could go, of course, but at the same time flew by. So, yeah, the excitement takes over, and yeah, it was very much fun. So, yeah, it was great.
Well, looking back at your run to the men's singles title, and one game stands out in particular, the last 32 against Peter Machin, 3-0 down. You survive match starts, you take out a 1-6-1 on the way to coming back and winning that game 4-3. So how are you feeling after that one?
Oh, that was like a freaking roller coaster. Well, I was very fortunate in the first 3 legs, to be honest. I missed a few chances to not go 3-0 down. I was kind of annoyed at myself for not taking those. But I knew I was scoring really, really well that whole week. So I knew I was scoring better than Peter. And I was like, okay, if I just make sure I keep scoring good, I'll be fine. And then I remembered I left 161 and he left like 60 or something for the match. And I was like, well, I missed it yesterday on the bull. Now it's go time. Like, now you kind of have to. And then I hit that one, and I felt more like I could win the match again. I just knew my scoring was better, so I was like, okay, if I just keep going, scoring, get him. And the next leg was good. And then I survived 3 match starts. And then we had to blow up, and then, like, it maybe took like 8 tries, I think. And I could start, and I was like, okay, if I just keep consistent, I'll be fine. And then I hit a 180, and I was like, okay, like I just kind of felt like I had already won at that point, which made me very calm for the next few games actually. And if I would have not survived those matches, all of this could not happen. So,
well, I remember when we spoke last time about your run to the Dutch Open title, and you mentioned a 1-2-1 finish in the early rounds that saved you, the 1-6-1 this time round saving you, and you end up going on to win the title like you did at the Dutch Open. Is one of them better than the other, or do you put them on par, those 2 big finishes, when you needed them the most?
I would say, I don't know, like it's hard, you know. In the Dutch Open it was 3-all or 2-all, I don't remember. And he was waiting on a double for the match, so he never got a chance for the match. But with Peter, it was like he was waiting on 60 to go 4-0 and win. And then I hit the 161, and then he actually gets 3 match starts. And then it was in the last 32 in the World Cup, and I was like, oh, like I could have been out. And then I just marched on to, well, kind of destroy everyone on my path after that. And then the Dutch Open, it was literally like the last 2056 where I could have been out, and I still had to win like, I don't know, like 9 matches or something after. I don't know, I think they're both, from a feeling, they're both been very incredible. I think the 161 was maybe even tougher than the 121, of course, because it's like 2 big trebles and a bull. I don't know, I can't decide on which one was better, but I don't know. For the pride, I would say definitely the World Cup one, and for the biggest title, maybe Dutch Open, but it's a real tough one. I can't choose, man.
Well, 2 great checkouts to have had this year, and we are into October now. It's an important month with the Challenge Tour, the final weekend coming up. Quite a break between the Challenge Tour weekends during the season. Do you prefer having those breaks, or does it mean that you've got more time to think about your current position and what you could possibly go on to achieve?
I think it's good and bad. For the people who are maybe trying to find some rhythm in their game, or like getting match practice in and wanting to get some good results, is kind of tough. Also, if you're in good form, it's sometimes kind of tough to having to wait so long, and you want to play so much, but you can't because you have to wait. But in my position, I think maybe because I had that fantastic weekend in the middle, and then more of a break afterwards, and the weekend after was a consistent weekend, but just not good enough for my feeling. It's maybe nice to know getting to reset until the last weekend. I know it's time enough to think about the whole ranking, but at the same time, I feel, I don't feel too worried or pressured about my position, so I'm not Yeah, I'm a guy who I don't mind to break, but at the same time, I didn't like the breaks during the Pro Tour seasons the last few years, in the middle of the summer. If you're playing well, you kind of want to keep playing, and then if your form reaches up before the summer, and you have to wait until after summer again, it's kind of that's annoying. But besides that, I think it's fine. I think.
Well, looking at the order of merit as it stands going into that final weekend, 2 Dutch players in 1 and 2, yourself top of the table, and then you've got Christian Kist, your closest challenger, and we saw him recently get to a Players' Championship final as well. Different circumstances, but you've both had to overcome difficult times to get back to your best. So for you, what has been the main inspiration to not give up during those hard times?
Yeah, like I would just say dreams, like you get motivated from knowing what you wanted to achieve, how much you have to give for it, and it just makes you keep going. You see your friends or people who have inspired you before or something achieve things again, and you're getting motivated from them. And yeah, looking at Christian, he's had a rough time as well, and I love the guy. He's so amazing. He's so friendly, funny, and he's super good at darts. So, like looking back at him as well, it's amazing what he's done this year. Yeah, if we could both finish 1 and 2, I will be very happy because he's deserved his tour card. You've seen it in the Pro Tour this year. And I would love it if we would both make it, and I think we've both got enough motivation to definitely keep going.
Definitely, yeah. Great to see Christian getting back to his best as well. And you mentioned there about taking inspiration from players as well. And we've seen players before they've lost their tour cards. Some of them haven't recovered from it. Some of them they've come back and they've come back stronger as well. And for you then, are there any players in particular that you've looked at this year and gone, well, they've lost their tour card and look what they're doing now, and you've took that inspiration from them?
Well, there's a few. Like if I look at for example, the last few years, maybe not just this year in particular. For some people, it might have been good for a break to lose their tour card. For example, Christian, of course, himself. After his injury, it might have been better for him to just have a small break, and now you see what he's playing is crazy. Another Dutch guy, Jelle Klaassen, has lost his tour card and just kept on winning on the WDF system. Yeah, it's crazy. Some people just need that small break. Look at Dirk van Duijbode, he lost his tour card. Just had that reset, and now he's just, look at him now. He's crazy. And maybe I'll be one of them as well.
Yeah, you're certainly heading that way, and I know you spoke to us before about a change in mindset for you this year after Q School didn't go according to plan. You wanted to enjoy the game, and it's worked out so far with what you've won. But what's the plan going into what's going to be a big weekend on the Challenge Tour the next few weeks? Are you going to be in the Players' Championships? Have you got anything else lined up?
I think I should be in the Players' Championships anyway, due to mostly 2 players being not able to travel anyway. So I'll be playing the Players' Championships next time and the time after. So I got some nice tournaments to look forward to, and it's just gonna mostly just enjoy the Challenge Tour. Hopefully finish at the top, and then we'll just see what happens on the Pro Tour. If I have a few good runs, I can still make the Players' Championship finals maybe, and maybe through that ranking the World Championships as well, which makes my and Christian's spot for the World Championship go to number 3 and 4 on the Challenge Tour, I think. So that would be nice for those people too.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, before we let you go, you've already achieved a lot this year with being a wild list and everything, the Dutch Open, the World Cup, Challenge Tour titles. But for you, which achievement are you most proud of so far this year?
Now you're asking me something that I have no idea of. I don't know. Well, it started off with the Dutch Open, then the Challenge Tours came around, then some nice Pro Tour results, and then maybe the World Cup. Maybe the World Cup is my favorite for the year. becoming the fifth Dutch player to ever win that title, becoming world champion with our team, which we have only done once, I believe, in the past. So yeah, it just feels amazing. Representing your country, I think, is worth so much. If you look at how many people live in your country, and you're like one of those 4 people that are there in the men's team. Of course, we have women and youth as well. But it just feels amazing to play in that shirt. So maybe I think that's my favorite for so far.
Can't argue with that. Well, it's a big few weeks ahead, Barry. Thanks again for the time. We wish you all the best for the rest of the year and what else is to come in 2023 as well.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.